Alexander Zverev shocked Novak Djokovic in the final of the ATP Finals. I'm here to talk about how he got the win and what that means or doesn't mean for his career. Hey guys, welcome back to the tennis vlog. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. It was a big result on Sunday and the biggest title of Alexander Zverev's career, 6-4, 6-3 over top seed and world number one, the very in form Novak Djokovic. This means that in the last 3 years there has not been an ATP Finals champion named Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal, and in this era that's quite a big deal. Zverev has been leading the next generation of players since he was 18, 19 years old. Over the past couple of years, he's established himself as, yes, a big force of the future, but also a top player of the present, winning 3 Masters 1000 titles, staying in the top 5 this season for the entirety of the year, which is no mean feat in this golden era. So his victory on Sunday shouldn't really have been a shock, but Novak Djokovic has had an insane second half of the season. He's lost only 3 times. He's been all over the court. He's been nailing his marks, very precise. It was going to take something special to beat him in London, and Zverev brought that something special. So to begin with, I'm going to be a bit more technical, go briefly. I always say briefly, I don't stick to it. Go briefly into how Zverev managed to come through his semi-final against Roger Federer in straight sets and beat Novak Djokovic as well. And then I'm going to talk about what has led up to this victory for Zverev and what it might mean or might not mean for the future, with a particular focus on the near future. So, how did number 3 seed Zverev get the win? Zverev didn't have a particularly strong start to this tournament, and the general consensus was that the standard of the event and the tennis being produced at the beginning was lower than everyone expected. A lot of unforced errors, a lot of tight players, and I spoke a lot about the group stage in my analysis and my preview and predictions video. I think at the beginning Zverev was one of the players who wasn't up there with Djokovic and Kevin Anderson at that point, but he also wasn't down at the depths. For a player who dropped a match during the tournament, that's an impressive list of scorelines because he actually finished every single match in straight sets. Yes, he lost his second match to Djokovic, but he still came through all the other 4 with a win in straight sets, which is impressive at this caliber of player. He played 4 tiebreaks and didn't drop a single one, and that says a lot about his mentality and about where his tennis is in the big moments. And that is something that Zverev has solidified during this tournament, his ability to come through in the big moments, which is what creates a champion. This is what sets apart the top players from the not so great players. Someone's ability to stay in the moment, to identify a key point of the match and to absolutely pounce when their chances come. And I think that played a key role in the first set of Zverev's final with Djokovic. It played a key role in the latter stages of his match with Federer, which was, as you can see, 2 very close sets. Looking now at the fact that Zverev beat Federer and Djokovic back to back, and the key here was consistency and aggression. Zverev did not let himself get pushed around in these matches. The big factor for me in both of them was that he was serving incredibly well. He has a big serve. When it's nailing its mark, then he can start to dictate or he can end on a winner. He was hitting a lot of aces. It worked against Federer as well, but particularly against Djokovic, who is all over the court, who's running down balls that should technically be winners. The absolute key is for a player who can hit big like Zverev to set up with the serve and then to come forward into the court, be attacking, be aggressive and dictate. Also do that with small margin, and Zverev was going for some really precise shots. I think that Zverev had it less intense against Federer. It was a semi-final, they weren't playing for the trophy at that point, and also Federer just isn't in the form that Djokovic is at the moment. He was looking tired, he was looking unpredictable, he was looking fragile. So there were times during that match that Federer played some stunning shots, but he was inconsistent, he was making unforced errors, he was giving Zverev opportunities. And I'm sure you will have heard a lot about a controversial incident in the final tiebreak when Zverev stopped play during one of the points after seeing a ball kid drop a ball. But do not be deceived, that is not what ultimately decided the final results. The big thing there is that Federer just could not match Zverev's consistency. He was getting pushed around and held back by Zverev's ability to dictate, and in the end he just made one unforced error too many. Against Djokovic the key was in that first set, because you could see towards the end of the match that Djokovic was waning. He was throwing in uncharacteristic, unforced errors in that second set. He got back on serve at the beginning of it, and then he just kind of let it go. But he was there in the first set, and Zverev really stepped up to the mark and won that first set, as opposed to Djokovic losing it. His serve was hard to touch. When he came out to serve for the set, he served 3 aces in a row. But this is where it comes back to the head game, because at 4-all, Zverev had break point, and this was the first break point that Djokovic had faced since he last played Zverev in the group stage, when Zverev had break points at 4-all. Zverev didn't convert them, and he went on to get hammered for the rest of the match. But here Zverev capitalized, and he served it out with no problem at all. He was carrying out the exact game plan that was the only game plan that was going to stand a chance against Djokovic last week. He was serving big, and he was following those serves up to the net. He wasn't afraid to come forward, but also he was showing a great level of consistency throughout long rallies. He wouldn't get impatient and go for winners out of the blue. He was content to rally with Djokovic cross-court and set himself up for the final shots. It was when Zverev started to get the better of Djokovic in those longer rallies that the top seed must have known he was in trouble, because Djokovic is the king of those long rallies. His endurance, his timing, his precision, but Zverev was just there, and he played some great defensive tennis as well in the few times that he wasn't actually on the front foot. So that's how Zverev got it done. Nerves of steel when it mattered most, capitalizing on the big moments, landing that big serve and backing it up as well. But the main reason I wanted to film this video was not for technical analysis, it was to discuss what has led up to this for Zverev, but more importantly, what this win means potentially for Zverev, or what people are saying it means that this win in itself might not mean, which doesn't make sense with me saying it like that, but you'll get the idea. So with a great result and a great win like this, obviously and naturally comes a lot of hype, and you can only call it hype to a certain extent with Zverev because he's already here, he's already shown what he's capable of, and people already knew that he was very much up for the challenges that lay in London. But the big thing that came out of this win for Zverev is everybody chanting, oh, next it's a Grand Slam. He has shown the world that he is capable, that he will win majors. But we already knew that he was going to win Grand Slams, and it's going to look quite stupid now if he gets injured or something and doesn't actually end up winning a major. But I would say since he was in his late teens, it's been obvious that he has the tools and that he's been developing the mentality to be in the position to be fighting for those biggest titles in the sport. What I'm saying is, yes, we know that Zverev will win Grand Slams, but we don't know that any more from London than we did before. I don't think anything has changed in that respect. The question here is, does this ATP Finals victory tell us anything major about Alexander Zverev that we didn't know before? And I have to talk from my own perspective here, I can't speak for anyone else, and from my own point of view, no, not really. Yes, he beat Djokovic and Federer, but we already knew he could beat Djokovic and Federer, and that he could do it in high-pressure situations as well. When he was just 20 years old, he beat both of them in Masters 1000 finals. And to me, the 3 Masters 1000 titles he's won have said more to me about his ability and about where he's headed in his career than this tournament. Because in Masters 1000 tournaments you have to win 6 matches in a row, it requires a different kind of mental strength, it requires more endurance. It also has the progression of facing the lower ranked players that you should technically be beating, and then if the draw plays out as it's projected, facing the top seeds that are supposed to be more of a challenge. There are accomplished and capable and experienced players who have not won a single Masters 1000 title, so for Zverev to have won 3 at the age of 21 is pretty incredible, and to have beaten the caliber of player at them that he has. So I don't think that this ATP Finals win has shown or hinted or predicted anything new. Yes, it's highlighted things such as his ability to shine in the key points, such as his confidence against the game's elite, and his ability to raise his level for those matches. The only thing this does for Zverev in regard to winning a slam is give him more confidence and give him more self-belief. At any other time or any other tournament during the year, Zverev would have been out of contention when he lost to Novak Djokovic in his second match. And yes, he probably wouldn't have faced Djokovic in his second match in another tournament, but the fact remains that a loss would have sent him out of the event. Apart from a lucky loser coming through qualifying, the ATP Finals is a special case where you can lose a match and still stay in the tournament. In the real world, Zverev isn't going to have the opportunity to lose to a player like Djokovic, and then a few days later have the opportunity to face him again in the same arena, in the same conditions, with memories fresh in his mind of what he needs to work on and what he needs to do differently. I think having played Djokovic in that round-robin match was a really big help coming into the final. I would also say that the round-robin format is a great format for entertainment, but not so much for predicting the future. Back in 2015, when Agnieszka Radwanska, former world number 2 and Wimbledon finalist, won the WTA Finals with a 3-2 win-loss record, there was a lot of talk that this was the next step for her towards winning a Grand Slam title, and a lot of people thought that she should go on to majors. Now, I have this thing where I never write anyone off. As long as a player is active with a racket in their hands and ability on the tennis court, I would not say that they will never win a major title. However, in the aftermath of Radwanska's win and with all this expectation surrounding her, I think for the first time ever I actually went out there and stated that she would never win a Grand Slam title. Because winning the WTA Finals, having dropped 2 matches, is far different than having to win 7 matches in a row. Radwanska played a very exhaustive style of tennis. A lot of people, for obvious reasons if you've ever watched any of her matches, found it incredibly enjoyable to watch. They called her the ninja. She would pull off trick shots, she would drop shots, she would move her opponents around the court, throw them out of position. But it was such a demanding style of play, and that's actually been shown, I think, because a couple of weeks ago Radwanska was forced to retire from pro tennis due to her body not allowing her to perform at optimum levels anymore. Her game style made her popular, but it also wore her out, and I could not envision her being able to maintain a high level throughout 7 matches because of the demanding nature of her game. The following year, Dominika Cibulkova won the WTA Finals, and she also won with a 3-2 win-loss record. Now, Cibulkova has also reached a Grand Slam final, but it doesn't look likely that she will reach another one if she continues her current form. Then we look across to the ATP side. Grigor Dimitrov played a great tournament in the latter stages to win last year, but he didn't even qualify for the field this time around, and with Dimitrov's tendency to be up and down, with the quality of players and the variety of players that are on tour doing well at the moment, he wouldn't be high on my list to win a Grand Slam. I repeat that Zverev's past achievements, his steady progress, his sustained place at the top of the game, and his 3 Masters 1000 titles say more loudly to me that he will win a Grand Slam than a tournament where he lost once and picked up 4 victories. Again, it pays great testament to his mental strength, and I believe he will take a lot of confidence from this, particularly given that he had been saying he was feeling tired, that the season was too long, yet he managed to pull some of his best tennis of the season out of the bag right at the back end. He now just needs to find consistency and endurance over best of 5 sets, because that's the big thing for Zverev here. You've got a best of 3 tournament, even Masters 1000 titles as well as he's done, are not 7 matches, are not best of 5. He needs to work on that aspect of his game, and it will come for him because he's shown he has all the tools to bring it together. So that's mainly what I wanted to talk about today, a bit of a roundup of the tournament that has been, with a major focus on Alexander Zverev, who I do believe will go on to multiple Grand Slam titles. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of Alexander Zverev's incredible run and win over Novak Djokovic, and his win over Federer as well. I'm not sure when I will be back here next. I have a Q&A video to film, which I have not forgotten about. Thank you very much for your questions. If you want to add a few before I film, then I'll leave the link to the video in the description. Do subscribe if you enjoyed the video and haven't subscribed already to stay notified of when new videos will come out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.